Important issues. CBS 10 WILM's weekly focus on the Lower Cape Fear region. This is Byline Wilmington with your host, Don Ansell.
Welcome and thank you for joining us. In February, New Hanover County Sheriff Sid Causey made a surprise announcement that he would take an early retirement this July, 18 months before his term expires. Since then, there's been a lot of talk and speculation. On this edition of Byline, we go to the source. New Hanover County Sheriff Sid Causey is our guest, one-on-one.
Good morning, sir.
Howdy, Sheriff. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you coming in. So what led you to make this decision?
Well, as you know, the county, and every county, I guess, is money is a tight situation, and they offered a retirement package, and after looking at it and discussing it with my wife, we decided to take it. I really wanted to serve this term out and had some thoughts of running one more time, but we just felt like this was the right time, and so...
Did the county come to you?
No, they did not. They offered it to every employee, and it was volunteer, and so I took it.
How long before you made the announcement had you actually made the decision?
Well, we discussed it for probably a week, and just it was just everything pointed to this is the right time.
That had to be a tough decision. I mean, you've been in law enforcement 39 years.
Yes, sir.
All of it spent in New Hanover County. You started, what, in Carolina
Beach, April 6th of 1970.
And we were chatting off camera about what the pay was then. What was it?
Yeah, it was $55 a week.
A week.
And your work day was 9 hours, and you worked 6 days a week, and you had...
In 1970?
Yeah, and 1 day off.
And today you're...
I make right at $70 an hour.
An hour.
And
it's 20
that
bucks.
the first full year I worked in law enforcement, I made $30.
So will this actually save the county money? Was that the...
Yes, and it's my understanding there was 44 or 5 people, and there's only 2 or 3 that they will replace. Of course, the sheriff being a constitutional duty, they had to replace that. But the next sheriff will start at a lower salary, and so this will save them money, but not hiring the other people that retired
will save a lot more.
Yes.
Would the economics be different for you if you finished out your term and didn't run again?
No, actually, going now was financially was the best move.
It was better than finishing out your term?
It was. There was some cash incentives, some help on insurance, and now was financially the time, but that was not the reason I made it, but reasons I made that decision.
What was the reason?
Well, I don't want to wake up one day not be able to get out of bed. There's some things I want to do. I want to travel. My wife, she's going to, if not retire, semi-retire, and we want to do a little traveling and do some things we've put off for many years.
Well, we were chatting off camera quite a while before we went on today, and you said you've never taken a real vacation.
Not really. I went with my church one time to Honduras, and I think we were gone 12 days.
That was
and
a missionary
trip, building some houses. But that was the longest period of time I've ever been away from work. And earlier this year, we took 7 days. I actually went on a short cruise. And but other than that, I've never really had a vacation. Just take off and go somewhere and stay 2 or 3 weeks.
All right, so you started in 1970 at Carolina Beach.
Yes.
In law enforcement.
Correct.
And give us a little short.
I stayed there until July of '73. Sheriff H.G. Groman was appointed to serve Marion Millis's unexpired term. Sheriff Millis retired early in his last term, and Sheriff Groman took over, and
You knew him?
I did know him. We had worked. He was the first and only narcotic officer in the county when drugs first showed up in the 70s. So he hired me on July 13th of 1973.
To be in the sheriff's
To be in the
department.
sheriff's office.
So from 73 till now, you've been in
Yes.
the New Hanover County Sheriff's
Worked for New Hanover County.
a
absolutely.
deputy, and then elected in what,
02 and 06, and I've held every job from the bottom to the top, which I'm very proud of.
how many sheriffs have you served under?
Well,
Was Groman,
Groman, Sheriff McQueen, and then Sheriff Lanier. He filled Sheriff McQueen's unexpired term, and then myself.
and then you were elected.
Right.
Does one of them? I don't want to put you on the. Does one of them stand out to you?
Well, I worked a long time for Sheriff McQueen, and I was fortunate. I ran his drug unit for like 17 years, and a wonderful man. Told free reign to go where I needed to go, do the things I needed to do, and I had no restrictions. If they were dealing drugs or selling drugs, whatever, he didn't care who they were.
Did he support you when you decided to?
He did.
To run, and that was after his term. Was that right after him?
Yes. Well, Sheriff Lanier served about 2 years. He decided not to run, and then I ran, and Sheriff McQueen supported me, and was a big reason that I was elected, I'm sure.
We're going to take a short break. We'll come back of our one-on-one conversation with New Hanover County Sheriff Sid Causey. When we come back, the W office have had some rocky relations. We'll talk a little about that. Stay with us.